far with this series. I'm already in 23 episodes. And it's random lift tour time. First to another tube station and into one of the platform lifts. The lift to platform 1 wasn't working. And now to the street lift.
Cerrando puertas. Ascensor subiendo. Planta 1. Ascensor abriendo puertas.
And now to Beer Park. The lifts here in Barbados installed by a pond. These are a bit similar to the ones in most stations in Metro Valencia's Line 1. But instead of being MRL, these are hydraulics. And the COP is distributed like the Fishing Club Millennium COP. Anyways, first to a lift in the front. And now to another lift around the side. This is also another bubble lift installed by Alepon. Apart from the fact it's not the same as the last one. The only thing that changes is the capacity. It's a bit larger than the last one.
¿Veis?
-1.
Mamá,
¿Qué cariño?
¿por qué?
¿Qué pasa, hijo?
Papá,
¿Qué pasa, bichito? ¿Te has pasado bien?
sí.
Sí, muy bien, cariño.
¿Por qué es un asesor?
Para bajar.
Para bajar
Adiós.
el parque. Adiós.
Estamos en el garaje.
the Mercadona in No Campanar. The old one used to be behind a burned-down block of flats, but now a new one has been built in its place, and it is in the same street as Nokia Hospital, and it is a few miles away from my grandaunt and granduncle's home. And this new Mercadona was built just with practically the same lift layout as the old one. But first, coming from the main entrance and along to one of the lifts down to the car park, this is a very new TKE 300 MRL, and this one only has one set of door. And now to the other lift in this same Mercadona. This is also a TKE Synergy 300 MRL. On the hall of this one in basement is where the alternative toilets are. But there's other toilets in the main entrance, but that's on the ground floor. And also, this lift has two sets of doors, unlike the last one, which only has one set of door. And now to Nokia Hospital, where I cannot film the lifts there. It says some nice Schindler Miconics, but since COVID, I no longer film lifts in hospitals, and it's really obvious to that why. And also, there's also a sign on the front door saying that taking pictures is not allowed, so that's also a reason why I could not film the lifts in this hospital. Anyways, here's how 4 out of the 5 main lifts look like. If you ask me, this hospital has 5 main lifts. The lift on the very far left of the two on the left only goes between 6 and -1. Those two on the left go between 6 and -1 as well. But the lifts on the right hand side go between 6 and they go down to -6, which is just car park only. It's a shame I cannot film these. These were part of my childhood, and when I visited this hospital in 2024, I thought for a moment that these were replaced to 5500s after the company that ran this hospital was renamed from Nisa to Vithis. But oh well. I was glad that these were still original from then, and I was so happy about it anyway. Anyways, and now to Lidl, where there's some nice Campanar goods with KSS 305 pictures from 2018. And now, let's explore and walk around to see how the burned down block of flats is currently doing. If I'm not wrong, this building is currently being restored. And below the burned down block of flats, there is a teddy shop. But now all the residents in Campanar have to walk at least to Benny Ferry if they want to go to a teddy, as this teddy shop is currently closed down because it was affected during the fire of this block of flats. And now, into the old Campanar Macedonia, which was behind the burned down block of flats, and as you see here, it is closed down. The lift was a ThyssenKrupp hydraulic from 2007 with PM6 buttons, but the inside ones were replaced. I'm going to show footage from 2020 of how it used to look like.
And here we are. Let's ride the lift. And oh boy, still what this pandemic still is a modern 2010 ThyssenKrupp lift. But unfortunately it's a hydraulic. Oh boy, I can't believe this lift still exists. I can't believe these types of lifts still exist today in Macedonians. That's so unbelievable. Let's ride this. Let's go. But inside sadly has two buttons. It's still in 2007. And here we are the ground floor cab, the biggest white knot. The cab is completely grey. Get off. The inside buttons used to be like the core buttons, but now replaced to Dewhurst, which is... Anyways, so that'll be... Oh, sorry. I wasn't meant to record people. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed that shit.
And now back to 2025. And now let's move through the historic part of Campanar. And now to a Corte Inglés Outlet, and first to the main list, which after 30 years are still original. These are amazing Otis Europa style lists. They can't be considered Otis Europa 2000 since it doesn't say it on anywhere in the plates. Anyways, these lists go car park S2, S1, lower ground, which is locked off and it was taken over by another lift that came later into the department store. Ground floor, first store, and the rest of the all the Corte Inglés department store floors, including floor 3, which was closed, and floor 4, which has now been turned into offices, and it is now what we consider a quote unquote semi-public floor. And the only bad thing about these is that the outside this place on the ground floor were replaced to Otis Gen 2 ones, but for the rest of the things, they're still original after 30 whole years. Anyways, let's ride them. And now to the car park list. These are Otis Europa 2000 hydraulics, but the bad thing about this is the inside buttons have been replaced. And now to the lift that only goes between ground and lower ground. This is an Otis Gen 2, and what's weird with this lift is that the inside plate on the display is Otis 2000E, when this lift is actually an Otis Gen 2 from the perspective. And also, this lift took over the main lifts back in 2010. It took over the main list serving lower ground, which now the main lifts don't serve that floor anymore, and it is now low top. get onto Valencia as all entrances are locked off and require the parking ticket. It's such a shame because the lease in this car park has a nice security code lease. It's such a shame because I can't get onto these sadly. So oh well, let's skip that. And now to the Mercadona in the veteran Campanar part. This opened in 2009, and after 9 years of opening, it has been refurbished. I liked it how it was. The list here used to be fish and crab hydraulics with PM6 fishes, but these have been modernized when this Mercadona was refurbished. And first to the one that only has one set of door, which was in the main entrance. And out to the other side of the Mercadona and into the other lift there. And after I filmed this one, I got a sound effect of the hydraulic motor when it goes up. And now to Campanar station. This was the second Metro Valencia Line 1 station to have its lifts installed in 2002. But the lift I'm going to film now, which is the 2nd Street lift, was built in 2006. And these are fish and crab hydraulics. And now to the old Lafay Hospital, which is sadly being demolished. Oh dear. Anyways, I never got to visit this hospital. It's such a shame. I've seen pictures of how it looked like abandoned. I saw a picture that featured the list, and these are Joshua Schindler's. It's such a shame that this is currently being demolished. The only kept part is the prevention against the mama cancer unit, which is a few miles away of the main hospital. It's such a shame. Anyways, here are some pictures from the back. And what's built in place of this hospital is a new health center, which I've seen pictures of it before, and it seems that this new health center is some co-model space 500s with cases to 80 pieces. Wait, actually 500 years. Anyways, sort of, and let's move on. This hospital is currently being demolished, as from us seeing the news, and it's such a shame, really. It has a nice judge of Schindler's, and I've never got to fight them before. I bet these were far better than the ones in Nokia to a hospital, but oh well, who cares about it? As is, this hospital originally opened in the 1960s, and Nokia to a hospital is from the 1990s. Anyway, sort of about it. Let's move on. And now to New Center Shopping Area. For this one, I'm going to reuse the 2022 map from when I did an heavy lift there back then. And now to the first list, which are the higher car park list in the food zone. And now to the underground car park list. When I saw the sign on the motorroom, it is really clear that these car park lists weren't modernized from Joshua Schindler's. They were modernized from 80s Vissens. And now to the main list. I still don't know if these were modernized from Vissens or Joshua Schindler's, as the escalators in the rest of the shopping centre are still original 80s Vissens. So at the moment, I'm not too sure if these are modernized from Joshua Schindler's or Vissens, but they kind of look like they were modernized from Joshua Schindler's. And these were modernized by Thyssen Club in 2003, and these are the same fixtures as the high car park lifts. to a Corte Inglés fashion building where the lists are more nice just as Schindler's, and they were more nice with VMX3 fishes, which are incredibly rare in Spain, at least in Valencia.
¿Cuál vais?
Subimos.
Al 5.
A ver, no es infantil, es la tercera.
Ah, no, pues.
Tercera. Vaya. Los libros.
Si todas tienen la misma forma.
Ya. Ya se está cayendo esto. Luego lo pondré en...
Luego.
And now into a Corte Inglés home building where there's some even more modernized just as Schindler's, and these were modernized with VMX B fishes, and these were modernized before the ones in the fashion building.
Pero esto es el B. Ah, vale, perdona. Anulado las llamadas.
And now to the Sphere Pyramid, where there's just a boring platform lift, and I'm not gonna film it because it's really boring, so I'm gonna skip that. And now to the list outside. these were also more nice fish than crumblers. They're still in his place, and I still don't know if these were more nice from Joseph Schindler's or 80s pheasants. I don't know. And one notable difference is that these were more nice in 2006, which is the year where I was born, instead of being more nice in 2003. And instead of serving all of the floors, these go at last until car park 1. And now to the Expo Hotel, which most recently has been taken over by Novotel and was given a very heavy refurbishment. And what about the list? No, they have been replaced. The main list used to be more nice pheasants, but the list down to basements 1, 2, and 3 were original 80s pheasants. It's a shame, really. First to the main list, which are now TKE 7300 MRL. And what's different to a typical TKE 7300 is that these go some nice fast 2 meters per second. And since these go up 12 floors, when the old list used to go 11 floors high, now the new list just go up to the 12th floor.
De nada. No me parece que...
Va hacia abajo, ¿eh?
Sí. Pues bien. Al cero.
Espera.
¿Qué mides ahí? Hacia arriba.
And now to the lifts to basements. These are also TKE 7300 MRLs, but these replaced the original 1980s Pheasants, unlike the main lifts, which were modernized before TKE replaced them, and this was Expo Hotel. And when this was Expo Hotel, you didn't need an RFID card to go down to -3. Now with this new Novotel, you need an RFID card to go down to -3, which is car park. -2 and -1 are saloons. And now to Campanar Mall, a hidden story. This used to be a normal shopping center with quite a few shops when it originally opened in 2004. Now, since Decathlon took over most of the shopping center in 2012, it is no longer the typical shopping center you guys think what this used to be. Anyways, this shopping center, for some reason, it was called the Fuencarral Market. As it's really weird for me because Fuencarral is in Madrid. It doesn't serve for a place in Valencia because otherwise you might be confused with Madrid's Fuencarral area. So oh well, who cares? Anyways, for this one I'm gonna use the 2022 mouse so I can get into which live whatever blah 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 blah. Anyways, moving on. First to Decathlon and into the lift in the front. And now to the lift in the other end of Decathlon. And I forgot to mention, the lifts in this Decathlon shop are some nice ThyssenKrupp latitude MRLs. But the caps look like service lifts for some reason. And now, walking up to the first floor on the escalators of the main mall entrance, and now to the lifts to the cinema. These are some nice ThyssenKrupp Evolution MRLs. They are latitude, but they might have the latitude chases or whatever the hell. Anyways, these used to go down to ground and lower ground, but that's no longer happening as Decathlon took over in 2012. These were shortened just to the first floor, and these are now the cinema lifts. But most of all, some details, these lifts have that they're amazing, which are the early 2000s twists and charms, and they go some nice fast 2 meters per second.
muy majo, la verdad.
Now to the main list. When this used to be the old shopping centre, this only used to go between car parks then up to lower ground. But as since Decathlon took over the rest of the shopping centre in 2012, these have now been extended up to the first floor. These used to be ThyssenKrupp Evolution MRLs just like the cinema list, but they've now been replaced with ThyssenKrupp Synergy MRLs. And they no longer stop at the lower ground floor as there's nothing there just now. And now to a hostel next to the shopping centre. There was a lift inside this, but I could not get into this one because the door's locked off and it requires a code to get in. So, oh well, I'm going to skip this one. And now to the OIIAOIIA Hotel, which has a modernized Otis Europa 2000s, but I didn't film these this time, just in case this hotel wants to comply with the European data protection law. Reason, one of the receptionists was staring at me when I was about to enter this hotel, so therefore, I'm not going to risk that. And now into the bus station, where there's a senior lift, or well known as a cheaply made missing CF. And now to the NH Valencia Center Hotel, which is a few miles away walking from the bus station. And this hotel has some really nice 90s high memories. But sadly, the inside buttons have been replaced and the cabs have been refurbished as well. And what's weird with these days is that from floors 1 to 9, those doors are not locked off. Floor 10, that's rooms as well, and 11, which is the restaurant, are both locked off. It is weird, but at least the rest of the core buttons and the rest of the things in this lift are still original.
Hold on.
And now to Jury Station, where there's just a marble is installed by Elepon, and for this one I'm just gonna film the street lift.